Welcome back to DDB 101. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys some basic UI when you trying to debug with DDB in VS Code. Before that, there are a few prerequisites. Make sure you go to the official website to have both DDB and DDB VS Code extension properly installed. Now, let's jump directly into a dummy project. In this project, we follow a simple design, one server and one client. Okay. Before that, let's first take a look at two files. First file is called launch.json under the .vscode folder. This file is used by the VS Code, so the VS Code extension can pass some configuration to the backend DDB. Now, this file is actually used by DDB, so you can configure some settings of DDB in this file. For more details regarding how to configure DDB, you can refer to our official website. Now, let's actually start to run DDB and try to give you guys a sense of how DDB looks like in VS Code. So if you have VS Code extension and DDB correctly installed, you can go to this panel called Debug and Run. Then you click this, you click the green button to start it. So you're gonna see a control panel like this. Whenever the pause button turns blue and you saw a running button here, it means DDB is already running. Now, let me actually start something. In this case, I'm just gonna start a server process. And the server process is already integrated with DDB support. So whenever I start in this way, the DDB gonna capture this process and attach to this. Let me click enter. After a few seconds, you can see there's a thread pop up on this call stack window. This is the server we're just trying to run. And you can see the DB is already attaching to it automatically. Now let's first continue this process by clicking this. So you can see more threads because all the threads are starting up. And you can see they're running. So you can also click on this pause button, which is going to pause the execution of all threads. And during this time, you can expand some thread and inspect their frame. For example, here I want to click on the first frame. In this case, let me minimize the terminal first. So in this case, you can see it's actually calling from the main function from this line. Now, let me actually close this thing and continue running. Let's navigate to the DDB sessions. So if you click on this, you're gonna see there is one session available, which is the server we just started, right? So if we expand this, we can see this is the session, which is called session ID 1 with name as WC underscore server. So we're gonna cover the concept of the group later, but if you click on this button, it's gonna show you a flattened view, which is just gonna list all the sessions available or attached to the DDB. Now, let's try to actually insert some breakpoints to our server process. Let me first close this panel. Let me open a file called rpc server.cpp. All these functions here are actually RPC handler for the server application. Just let me try to insert a breakpoint on line, let's say 15.3. We can move here and click. Wait a second, you can see there's a pop-up window which asking you to select which process you want to insert the breakpoints. So in distributed applications, sometimes you have many processes which can refer or which can use the same source file. So sometimes you might have many processes for you to decide which one to insert the breakpoints. Here we only have one process. Let's select this and click OK. And you will see a visual indication saying this breakpoint is properly in place. Now, if you want to view the detail of the breakpoint, you can click on the DDB breakpoint panel. So you can see there's a breakpoint available here, which refer to this file with this line number, which is exactly the one we just installed. So if we expand on this thing, you can see more detail regarding this breakpoint. We're gonna cover more detail on this panel later in this series. You can also click on this button. So all the breakpoint gonna be grouped by the file name. So in this case, we have one breakpoint in this file. Let me try to add an additional breakpoint. Let's say here. Again, insert on this process. And you can see here, now it has two breakpoints. If you expand on this, you can see the line number here. One is referred to the 53 and one is 68. Of course, you can remove breakpoints just clicking this. We can also remove this by clicking this. Now, there's another breakpoint panel here is coming from the VSCode. So it's a native VSCode breakpoint panel, but just try to avoid use this panel when you're trying to use the DDB, because there's some logic which are not really consistent with DDB behavior. So this one can break some DDB behavior. So whenever you're trying to invest or looking for breakpoint information, just use the DDB breakpoint panel. That's it for today's video. See you next time.